Y'all. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta and Black Ink Crew tonight. Oh my God. Receipts. So yeah. I got lemonade. Raspberry. So anytime somebody throw shade or, you know, somebody come with receipts, I will be taking sips because let's get into it. It continues. Well, this is Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, of course. Season 5, episode 4? Episode 5? Whichever. So it continues with, oh God, I got a headache, but I'm going to get through it. It continues with Carly and Jocelyn, and Carly is hurt by what Jocelyn talking about. She going to blackmail her and all this other craziness. Let me move this over, my notes, so I can see. So, yeah, so Carly is like, you know, hurt because Jocelyn is taking that role with her. She's like, listen, no matter what we say about each other, I would never blackmail you. You know, you're my girl. I'm the only one who's been in your corner. And it's like, now you turning on me. So Jocelyn is like, I'm not doing anything. I'm inviting you to my party, but I'm letting you know if you still talking smack about me and gossiping, I got this. You don't want this in the blogs. I'm going to put this in the blogs. And, you know, Carly is like, you're evil. She gets up and she walks away sad. And I feel bad for Carly because Carly has been a friend to Jocelyn. But Carly is messy. Carly does, you know, always come to Jocelyn with bad news or whatever. But she does have Jocelyn's back a lot of the time. So I'm like, Jocelyn don't care about friendship. That girl is just for herself. And it's kind of sad. So Kirk and Rashida are watching their daughter Kelsey rap. And remember, she was the one that was like, I want to be signed to D-Lo or whatever. So she's rapping. And I'm like, okay, Kelsey, you got some bars. I mean, her voice does take getting used to because she does have a little bit of a ying voice. But she can rap. She's a good rapper. You know, she just needs to be polished a little bit. But she's a good rapper. Yes, Nyla. Yeah. So she asked Rashida, you know, what you think about the performance. And Rashida is like, your stage presence is everything. You have to project your voice. Overall, it was a good performance, but those are the things you have to work on. So Kelsey is like, so am I signed to D-Lo? And, you know, Kirk is like, well, we're not at that point yet, but we could get at that point. So, you know, you got some work to do before we talk about signing you. So Kelsey feels offended that they didn't sign her or they told her no. Yes, Nyla. Yes. So she feels offended that they haven't signed her or whatever, and that they want to deal with the situation with Scrappy. So, you know, they basically cast her off to the side and went to Scrappy to deal with the situation. And Rashida just really wants Scrappy and Kirk to squash the feud because it's not even that serious. And Rashida is like, you know, I'm cool with Scrappy, but him not being cool with Kirk is going to be a problem with us because we're a team. So they talk and they discuss it, and Kirk says, you know what, the same exact thing that Scrappy is going through is basically what I see me going through with Kelsey. And you know what, I'm not mad at him for feeling the way he's feeling. He just wants to fight. He just wants to fight to get his daughter, and I understand that. So I'm going to apologize and I'm going to let it go. I'm going to be the bigger person. And I'm like, okay, you know, that's all it took was for them to talk. It's a misunderstanding. He acknowledged his wrong. He said he's sorry. They moved on. So Jocelyn and Stevie are looking at venues or whatever, and Jocelyn is like, oh, I can't wait to have this party. You know, I'm going to have a special guest, maybe a bomb drop here and there. And I'm like, Jocelyn came back this season with a vengeance. Like, she just got dirt. And she just got everything on everyone. And I'm like, what does she have on people? So KK arrives. And Jocelyn says, oh, I heard that you and Stevie have relations in the past. Stevie is like, nah, this is my sister. We go back 18 years. We ain't never had that type of relationship. We got love for each other, but we don't love each other like that. So Jocelyn's like, I'm just saying what I heard. And, you know, KK is like, yo, she's insecure. Because why would you come at me thinking I would want Stevie? Me and Stevie cool peoples, but you know what? I ain't gonna go off on her because I know she crazy. But the next time, it's gonna be something else. And I'm like, oh Lord, Jocelyn, here you go, throwing your shade. So, so Jocelyn goes off, does her own thing. KK is talking about the discussion she had with Scrap. And Stevie is just trying to get her to see, like, the level-headedness of it. Like, he's trying to get her to see, listen, you're the grandmother, that's your son, that's your son's baby mother. Regardless as to what you feel about her, she is your grandson's mother. So you have to have some type of relationship with her for the sake of the child. So you have to think, how is this going to help you and Scrap or whatever? Like, she's upset with the conversation she had with Scrap, but Stevie is trying to tell her, listen, sometimes you have to suck it up and deal with, you know, the situation that you're in, you know? So Stevie is basically telling her, you need to make it right. You need to, you know, work it out with Tierra and just make the relationship better. You don't have to like her, but just respect her. And I'm like, I respect Stevie for telling her that, because a lot of grandmothers don't respect the mothers of their grandkids. And it mind boggles me, because it's like, regardless of whether you like them or not, that's the mother of your grandchild. So you have to deal with them whether you like it or not. So Jocelyn and Mimi meet up and they're going furniture shopping, and Jocelyn invites Mimi and they're discussing Chris, and Mimi is like, you know, that's my girlfriend. And Jocelyn is like, listen, after the tongue action I gave you, I would see why you want to go to the other side. You know, Mimi's like, no, that's not the reason why, but whatever. So she invites Mimi to the party, and, you know, she just wants to show Mimi that they could forgive and they could forget and that they're cool and whatnot. So they start discussing KK and Stevie, and Mimi is like, yeah, I've met her, I've known her. I don't know about them being together, but I know that they're, you know, cool. So Jocelyn hands Mimi an envelope full of KK's criminal history, the fact that she was on America's Most Wanted, her mugshots and everything. And Mimi is like, I'm not bothered by the fact that she has a criminal history. I'm bothered by the fact that Jocelyn has this in her bag and she's giving it to me or whatever. And I'm like, Jocelyn is just Jocelyn coming for everybody. She does not care at all. So now we get to Sass and Scrap, and they're performing at his mixtape party. They're talking about Dollar and how his birthday's coming up, and they go to the gravesite every year. So then Scrap is discussing Tierra and KK in the conversation, and you know, Sass is like, listen, y'all gotta work that out, because that's not gonna be good for the baby, that's not gonna be good for either one of y'all. We gotta keep the family together. So KK arrives, and you know, Scrap is not interested in talking to her unless she tells him what he wants to hear. And KK is just being stubborn, and she's like, listen, I'm not apologizing. I'm not talking to Tierra. I don't want nothing to do with her. If she tries to keep the baby from us, then we could take her to court. You gonna say hi? We could take her to court. I got grandmother's rights. And I'm sitting up here like, there's certain stipulations that you need in order for you to get grandparents' rights or whatever. Leave it. Get down. So I'm like, she needs to really, really stop, and she needs to fall back, because I'm like, you're the grandparent, okay? Unless you raise a child yourself, don't nobody care about your grandmother's rights. Like, stop it. You sound stupid. So she's basically being selfish and stubborn and standing her ground, and she's like, no, I'm not talking to Tierra. I don't care how it makes you feel. Whatever. And I'm like, see, this is why Scrap feels the way he feels about you. All you had to do was do what the man asked you to do, but you don't want to listen. You want to do what you want to do. And I'm just like, whatever. Like, if I was Scrap, I would just leave it alone, because she's bullheaded and she's going to do what she wants at the end of the day. So now we get to Mimi and Chris, and they're celebrating the new house. They're having drinks or whatever and talking. So Mimi wants to invite Chris to her housewarming party, and Chris is not really interested in coming, because she's like, it's too many girly things that'll be going on, and you know, I'm not into that girly stuff. So, you know, Mimi is like, I invited Jocelyn, but I'm really not too sure, because she doesn't get along with anybody. So Chris is like, I don't understand how you could be so cool with Jocelyn with y'all history or whatever. And Chris is like, if I was Mimi, I would watch my back, because even though her and Jocelyn are cool, you know, it is about forgiveness and forgetting, but you don't want to, you shouldn't forget anything, because it could come back. And I'm like, yeah, you know, Mimi should be a little bit cautious, but Her and Jocelyn worked it out, and her and Jocelyn forgave each other on a different level than what it would be for Jocelyn to forgive everybody else, or for everybody else to forgive Jocelyn. Because it was personal between her and Mimi, but her and Mimi got to come together for the sake of Stevie and Mimi's baby. So then we get to Tommy and Scrat, and Tommy, I'm like, first of all, why is this chick wearing? Why is she looking like a $2 hooker? Like, she had barely nothing on. So she purposely dressed like that to turn Scrap on, but she came in there looking for a chick in the house. And Scrap is like, whatever you looking for, I hope you find it, because ain't nobody here. So Tommy is feeling crazy because she looks crazy looking for nothing. And Scrap is like, you sitting up here looking for something. What are you looking for? She's like, why Jocelyn told me that you got a whole other chick living here and blah, blah, blah. He said, I ain't got no chick living here. And he's like, I don't know what type of war Jocelyn is trying to start, but there's no chick living here. I got enough dealing with her and Tierra. So I'm like, well, can't nobody... Don't nobody really know what you got going on, Scrap, because you just, you think you slick and you're not. You got caught. So Tommy is like, is it me? Am I choosing the wrong man? Am I losing my mind? He got me going crazy. So she outside trying to hitchhike and stop a truck. And I think production or security stopped her and was like, no, y'all keep going. Like, she was looking crazy in the streets, like half naked, but damn near naked, trying to hitchhike. And I'm like, Tommy, leave this man alone and move on. So now we get to paintballing with the fellas, and it's Stevie, Jock, Scrappy, Scrap, some other guy, I forgot his name, Jay something, I don't know. So I got a headache, y'all, I'm sorry. So they were asking Stevie why he's back from LA, and Stevie is like, well, I'm closer to my family. I want to be here with Eva. She's growing up. My dad is getting older. My other kids is growing up. I just want to be here because it's family oriented and take care of my business here. And they like, well, we know you miss LA. He like, yeah, I miss LA. It's like a different breed of people there. And, I enjoyed it. The weather was nice. Everything was nice out there. But I got to take care of business here. So he's like, me, Jocelyn, and Mimi, we're all one big happy family. And they like, well, how you managed to do that? He's the power of the beefcake. I'm like, yo, I can't with Stevie. So they start talking about Scrap's love triangle and his stuff with KK, and they talk about Tommy revealing that Jocelyn was the one that said that Scrap had another girl in the house. And Stevie is like, why is Jocelyn, first she came at KK, now she coming at Scrap, like, what is Jocelyn doing? And he's like, I hope this party that she planning is not a setup. I hope it's an actual party and there won't be no drama. I'm like, Stevie, if only you knew, Jocelyn is coming back with a vengeance. So now we get to Mimi's housewarming party, and she didn't invite Jocelyn, even though her and Jocelyn are cool. She didn't invite Jocelyn because Jocelyn doesn't get along with anybody. So she had to think, do I want to have a party with just me and Jocelyn, or do I want to invite my friends and just not deal with the Jocelyn drama? So she opted to invite her friends. So she invited Tierra, and all the ladies are like, oh, that's the girl from Chris's party that ruined Chris's party. And Tierra basically explained herself, and she's like, I apologized to Mimi and told her what was going on. And she said the only reason why we fought is because that was a girl that my baby father was dealing with. And she came at me sideways about it. And, I didn't mean to come out of my character for that, but, it happened. So they were like, yeah, we understand. So they discussed Jocelyn. Tammy is basically over it, and she's like, she apologized to the rest of y'all. She ain't apologized to me, and her only reason for fighting me was that she wanted to break my pretty face. She's like, that's some high school stuff. That's for girls who just don't like how you look in high school to want to slice your face. Like, that's some stuff they do in high school. She's like, I'm over it. I ain't dealing with Jocelyn. So Carly arrives, and she starts discussing the conversation that she had with Jocelyn about how Jocelyn is talking about blackmailing her. And she told Jocelyn she's evil, and they're like, but why would she do that to you when y'all were friends? She's like, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. So Carly is like, I'm not going to her event because you can't say you're going to blackmail me in one breath and in the next one invite me to your party. That makes no sense. So the ladies are basically warning Mimi, and Mimi is like, what does the blackmail, like, do you even know what she got over your head? And she's like, I don't know. So all of the ladies are like, well, we know that you and Jocelyn are cool or whatever, but you need to watch your back because she'll probably stab you in it too. So, you know, Dom is like, yeah, you know, it only takes one time for somebody to say that we ain't cool. And I'm like, all right, I ain't gonna mess with you like that no more. So, you know, you do you, but watch your back. So I'm like, yeah, they all got a point because they all got a history with Jocelyn. So Tiara's like, well, by a show of hands, how many of y'all going to the event? Mimi, the only one that raised her hand. So now we get to the event. Of course, VH1 got to leave us on a cliffhanger like they do every week. But the good thing is we get the next episode a day early. I'll get into that afterwards. So it's finally Jocelyn's video release party, and Chris and Mimi arrive. Jocelyn throwing shade to Chris, and she's like, oh, this your little girlfriend? And Chris is like, well, you know, she's like, this your young girlfriend? Something like that. And she's like, well, I'm not young, and I don't consider myself a girl. So it's like some of the stuff that Jocelyn is saying is a little bit offensive to Chris, and Chris is getting pissed off. But Chris is like, listen, she don't need to be worried about me and what I'm doing. She need to worry about her own business and water her own grass or whatever. So Jocelyn is like, oh, is her tongue action better than mine? And Mimi's like, come on, are you serious? So Chris is like, okay, that's a little offensive. So Mimi is like, you gotta stop. And then it stopped right there. I'm like, ugh! I hate you, VH1. I hate you, Mona Scott. But it's okay. I'll love you on Sunday when they air the next episode. But that was basically the episode. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see or hear whatever it is that Jocelyn got. Because from what it looked like, Tommy come in there, wilding out, spitting on Jocelyn. That's what it looks like. Then we got Rashida trying to get her mama and Scrappy mama in the same room. Because remember, Scrappy mama came in to press wilding and laying and putting down nests for golden eggs and all this other craziness. And then what else happened? Oh, Bambi goes on a blind date with Waka's brother, something like that. And I'm like, Lord, this is about to be a mess. Even Miss Deb was like, don't be trying to bring them problems between Scrap and Bambi and this dude. I don't need that, no ma'am. So, you know, this was a good episode, but it looked like it's gonna be a better episode next episode. So y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.